Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody who has joined us on our program this evening. Folks, I know I get mired down in politics occasionally, but this is something that I'm interested in, and it's somewhat of an emergency to talk about. But right now, it's also something that the Biden administration started last year, and the Boeing administration got it all. The Boeing company tried to launch their spacecraft that had problems, and they got mired down with problems 3 different launch times. They never got off the ground until the 4th time. Then once their Boeing spacecraft got to the space station, the spacecraft was no longer suitable for human astronauts, and so they decided to abandon the astronauts at the space station and have them work into all-around crew at the space station. That's what they're doing now. Now, Elon Musk, last August-September time period, after the astronauts got stranded on the space station, they were only supposed to be at the space station 8 days. Now it's nearly 360 days today. And right now those astronauts, Suni and Butch Williams, are still on board the space station after 360 days. And honestly, their families miss them. They miss their families and everything here on Earth. They were never supposed to be up there this long. But again, it's politics. I want to play a short video for you to let you know what actually is going on. They tried blaming Musk for the astronauts being on the space station. I want you to see this clip.
People on X woke up choosing violence on Thursday, February 20th, including Elon Musk. I have all the receipts. Buckle up and get your popcorn. Now, this information is subject to change, but I wanted to get a video on here as soon as possible due to the absolute war and obliteration I'm seeing on the X platform. And yes, the topic is space news. So here's the deal. Elon Musk and President Trump recently did an exclusive interview on Fox News with Hannity talking about a variety of things, including the 2 astronauts, Butch and Sunny, that are up at the ISS. And according to Elon, we just haven't been getting the full story this entire time.
You're committed to getting to Mars. You're committed to rescue. You're going to help rescue next month 2 astronauts that I think were abandoned. They dispute that in an interview.
At the President's request or instruction, we are accelerating the return of the astronauts, which was postponed kind of to a ridiculous degree.
They got left in space.
They've been there, they were supposed to be there 8 days. They're there almost 300.
Biden.
They were left up there for political reasons, which is not good.
Okay, it's not good.
And this clip did not go unnoticed. In fact, an ESA astronaut and commander of the ISS posted about this, Andreas Morganton, saying, "What a lie," and from someone who complains about the lack of honesty from the mainstream media. And Elon Musk did not hold back. He says, "You are fully retarded."
At Spectrum, we believe every day unlocks unlimited pop.
Just a second. I can't put on that commercial here. Otherwise, I'll get a copyright strike. I don't want that to happen.
Return was pushed back for political reasons. Idiot. Andreas responded to that saying, "Elon, I have long admired you and what you have accomplished, especially at SpaceX and Tesla. You know as well as I do that Butch and Sunny are returning with Crew 9, as has been the plan since last September. Even now, you are not sending up a rescue ship to bring them home. They are returning on the Dragon capsule that has been on the ISS since last September." And the space community is taking notice. A very popular space YouTuber, Joe Barnard, shared Elon Musk's tweet from back in December saying, please post a bit more positive, beautiful, or informative content on this platform. Which clearly, calling someone names is not exactly beautiful or inspiring. But Elon is getting triggered, and it's clear from this post from Ken Kirtland IV. He writes, just to make this clear, the Musk lie about the astronauts isn't SpaceX offered a mission. The lie is that NASA and even Biden didn't want SpaceX to bring the astronauts home because he no likey Elon, even though that's exactly what NASA did during Biden, which off-rip tells you how absurd this dumbass lie is. Wow, this is a little bit grammatically challenging. Why would NASA pay for a whole new Crew Dragon mission, $200 million plus, to interrupt the ISS schedule to bring astronauts back a few months earlier for no reasons, when they could just leave them on the ISS for free, put them to work on the station, and bring them back on the next scheduled Dragon, which is what they decided? Answer that effing question or shut the F up. This wasn't done because of politics. Well, Elon took notice, saying, you are the liar, and the people you cite were not party to the discussions. Liar. So I've been told that if someone criticizes me or says something mean on the internet, I should ignore it, and clearly Elon isn't doing that. But it seems like Elon has more to the story than we've been publicly aware. And this is groundbreaking if true, and I'm hoping that we get more details. Again, I'm just trying to give you a recap of what exactly has been going on today, because at this point, I'm fairly confused as to what the truth is. Now, Felix Spacetime also, quote, reposted Elon's "you are fully retarded" statement, saying calling the commander of the International Space Station a slur is absolutely disgusting. Language like this won't be tolerated by the space community. Elon Musk, I implore you to see reason. And Nautilus Guitars responded to Felix, saying, dude, Elon offered to bring Butch and Sunny back very shortly after this whole debacle. The Biden administration, who openly hated Elon, refused to cooperate. This is the definition of for political reasons. Elon is correct in that statement. They were meant to stay for 8 days. They have been there for a year now. Elon is correct in that statement. It's a ridiculous situation full of political ass covering for Boeing. They should have never been left there this long, and the only reason they're still there is because of politics and optics for Boeing. Elon seems to be the only one who cares about them being unexpectedly abandoned in the ISS. You can argue about the semantics all you want. I'd bet everything on the fact that Butch and Sunny are not happy about being left there. Nobody would be. Just imagine that. They're professionals and would never express that, but they're humans with families who didn't expect this and cannot be happy about it. Andrea is sharing a video where Elon describes these facts, calls him a liar in front of the whole world, as he's already being attacked at every angle, mostly for the dumbest reasons imaginable. Elon was part of the attempted negotiation. Andreas wasn't. Elon has the inside scoop. Obviously, Andreas is being an idiot, likely to jump on the spaceman bad bandwagon, and should have just shut the F up and minded his own business, so I don't feel bad for him. And Elon says exactly.
Okay, Elon said exactly. Again, there are some people on the space station that don't have all the facts. The facts here on Earth are much more crazy, much crazier. Now, I see that our video got locked up. I hope it won't do that again. But anyway, to make a long story short, what happened on board the U.S., or I shouldn't say U.S., but the International Space Station should never have happened. If we put up astronauts in space, we bring them down in a timely manner, so they are not up forever. Now, why is this an issue in my book? Why does this constitute an almost emergency in my book? Number one, they've been up there for about 360 days, nearly a year. Number two, when astronauts are in space, because of weightlessness, their bodies don't handle weightlessness very well. Astronauts have to work out on board the space station every day to keep their muscles toned and their bones strong, so the bones don't become brittle in space from space radiation and such. Now, these astronauts, Sunny and Mr. Williams, they are going to have problems when they come back to Earth on board the next Dragon capsule. Yes, it is SpaceX who will bring them back. SpaceX has a capsule on board the space station right now, connected to the space station. So it will be SpaceX bringing them home. But I can guarantee you, those two astronauts are going to have health issues when they return. Those two astronauts are the longest living astronauts in space, ever. Their occupation of space sets a new space record. Now, these two astronauts are going to be in a world of Earth. I can guarantee you that. Okay? I want to make that clear what's going on. Okay? NASA didn't want to have them up there for that long. It was clearly the Biden administration covering from Boeing. Okay? Boeing screwed up. Boeing's basically bowed out of the space race altogether. Now, what are we going to learn from this situation to make sure it never happens again? Okay? Now, we all know what's happening here on Earth with Elon Musk. Elon Musk was tasked by President Trump to reorganize the government, to consult with the technology department, with the government, to bring the government back within bounds. If Elon Musk hadn't started this task 3 weeks ago, by this summer, the United States of America would be declaring bankruptcy. So a lot of us should be very grateful that Elon Musk is doing his job. It's unreal. It's sad. It's very sad. But Elon Musk is doing his job. And by the way, just so all of you will know, Elon Musk and President Trump have said that because Elon Musk and his team have already pulled back money that had been spent by the Biden administration, and before that, Obama, they pulled it back. As a result, they have rescued the Social Security Administration. By 2034, the Social Security Administration was going to go bankrupt. Now, because of the money they pulled back, the Social Security Administration has new leaf that they've opened up. Okay? And in fact, they proposed within the next month or so to give every American taxpayer $5,000. $5,000. It's the American taxpayer's money. Why not? But we should be seeing a check coming out to each one of us here in the United States to the tune of $5,000 because the government illegally took it from us. They were illegally spending the money. Now, all of you know what I talked about the other night. Okay? The government spending money. When President Trump asked Elon and his team to go over to the Social Security Department, he didn't know what they were going to have happen. He didn't know that there were going to be millions of people over the age of 115 who were getting paid by the government, getting paid by Social Security, thousands upon thousands of dollars every month. All the way up to one person who is going to be 385 years old. We know that is fraudulent, isn't it? It surely is. There are thousands of people over age 250 who are getting money. There are thousands of millions of people over age 115 to 385 who were getting paid illegally. And the checks were getting cashed. So Elon Musk has done his job. He's now going over to the IRS and doing the same thing. And I know for a fact, and we must know for a fact, that he's going to do the same thing at the IRS. President Trump has already said that all those IRS law enforcement officers will not make it to their first few days on the IRS. Okay? Biden wanted to hire another 50,000, 75,000 IRS agents, giving them law enforcement status. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Trump is going to do what he needs to do to bring our government back into what he said he's told us that he wants it to be, that we need it to be. Okay? Donald Trump is doing what he says, and he's always said what he wanted us to do, and he's following through with it. He's given a promise, and he's always stayed with that promise with all of us. I fully expect him to follow through as well. I fully expect Elon Musk to do the same. Okay? So that's my story about SpaceX and the International Space Station. Now, for those of you that know me, that have been with me for nearly 6 years now, you know that I am a space enthusiast. I've watched every rocket launch, every manned space launch since I was a little kid. I have not missed any manned launches to the space station, to the moon, or anywhere else in space. I've watched it from my home. So far, I've not made it to the Cape to watch the launch in person. One day I would like to do that. But Elon Musk is doing his job. Elon Musk is doing his job. Sleeping Volcano says the popcorn's ready. Oh yeah. Before this is all said and done, I think we all ought to sit back with some popcorn and laugh and watch it happen. True story. We have a bunch of people within our government saying bye-bye, they're done. Mitch McConnell called it quits yesterday. I have a feeling we're going to see more Democrats call it quits as well. They can't handle the fire. They started the fire, they can't handle it. It's unreal. It's totally unreal. Now, you guys have talked about earthquakes happening here in North America. Let's go to the USGS map. Okay? Now, I'm going to talk about earthquakes. I'm going to talk about earthquakes around the world. But first, I want to talk about an earthquake that happened here in North America. This earthquake happened over here in Canada. Grand Cache, Canada. Okay? 69 kilometers northeast of Grand Cache, Canada. Okay? This was a 5.0 earthquake. USGS downgraded to 4.7. Canadian earthquake map has it as a 5.0. The Canadian earthquake map has it as a 5.0 earthquake, just as it came out when it first happened. This tells you that the United States government, the United States Geological Survey can't be trusted. U.S. Geological Survey can't be trusted. They tell us one thing, and then when it comes right down to it, they change it. They can't be trusted. As I've said before, and I'll say it time and time again, too many times USGS downgrades quakes when they should not be doing it. I've caught them many times doing this. Okay? This was at least a 5.0 large earthquake. This was at least a 5.0 large earthquake, not a 4.7 moderate quake. The fours they're calling, USGS is calling fours, light earthquakes. There is nothing light about a 4.0 to 4.9 moderate earthquake. They're moderate, they're not light. Moderate earthquakes cause damage. USGS can say, oh, they only cause light damage. I call BS on that. I call BS. Yes, they cause damage. They cause pictures and things to fall off the wall. They cause plates to rattle and roll, plates and glasses and such to rattle and roll in cupboards, knocking books off of bookcases, knocking trinkets off of tables and such. Guess what? As I said before, for those of you that have been with me a while, I was at a Los Angeles earthquake. Okay? On a Sunday night, I saw it happen in Los Angeles via KTLA Channel 5 television. The news anchors, one of the news anchors was a guy named Carlos Amezcua, who was the main anchor for KTLA. When that earthquake hit, the lights above him swayed back and forth. Lights above him swayed back and forth. He and his broadcast partner crawled under their broadcast table until the earthquake quit shaking. They got back out and declared at least a 4.5 earthquake. Shortly after that, I got a call from the EOC, the Emergency Operations Center in Los Angeles, asking me to help them recover from the earthquake. They sent a ticket to the Salt Lake City airport. I was on the plane about 11:30 p.m. that night. I flew into Los Angeles about an hour and a half later. Gas mains around Los Angeles blew up. Natural gas mains around Los Angeles underneath the streets blew because of the shaking. Water mains also blew out in the streets. Glass windows, plate glass windows around the entire area of Los Angeles fell, broke in a million pieces. That 4.5 earthquake that night in Los Angeles was at least a 5.0, regardless of what Caltech or USGS wanted it to be. That earthquake was a large earthquake. Okay? And yet the USBS continues with their idea, oh, we can call it anything we want, because we don't have to answer to anybody but us. Really? Very shortly, the United States Geological Survey is going to have to answer to the citizens of this country. They're going to have to answer to the citizens of this country and probably the citizens around the world, because they are not doing any of us justice. And I'm hoping that when Elon Musk is tasked by President Trump to go over to the USGS, he's going to fire a bunch of people, managers. It's not the everyday scientist or staff person at the USGS. It's managers. It's managers and politicians that need their hands slapped. That's probably going to happen. Plus, their spending of money is going to be in question. But because of what they've done, there's going to be a butt kicking done. There's going to be a butt kicking done. In a few minutes, we're going to talk about the new Madrid fault zone. You can see earthquakes all over Los Angeles, all over Southern California, and over in Utah and Montana and Idaho, up in Washington State as well, over in southwestern Texas. That's normal. That's normal. What is not normal is this earthquake in Canada today, a 5.0 over here in Grand Cache, Canada. Large earthquake in Grand Cache, Canada. Let's go quickly around the world and talk about what's happened. Then we will go over to the new Madrid fault. Look what's happening over here in Alaska. Again, most of these earthquakes are in southern Alaska. Most of these earthquakes are in southern Alaska. Example is this earthquake here. Don't allow me to bring it up here. Gateway, Alaska. This is a 2.0 earthquake. A minor 2.0 earthquake. Now, well, this is just a minor quake. Where's it near? Just north and east of Anchorage, Alaska, the capital of Alaska. This earthquake was not felt in Anchorage. 2.0 earthquakes cannot be felt, except for possibly some very sensitive person. A 3.2, 3.5 earthquake can be felt. Small earthquakes can be felt. But minor earthquakes and tremors cannot be felt. but you can see earthquakes happening all over here. Let's go south here. This is a 1.8 in Sterling, Alaska here. Let's go a little bit further north and west. This is the 1.8 in Point Possession, Alaska. Let's cross over here, just to give you a better idea of what's going on. Up here, okay? USGS is calling this a swarm of earthquakes around Tynek, Alaska. T-Y-O-N-E-K, Alaska. Tynek, Alaska. This is a minus 0.3. Minus numbers are indicative of being above sea level. Well, guys, guess what? This is 1.5 miles deep underneath Redoubt Volcano. Mount Redoubt Volcano here. This is not above sea level at all. It's down deep inside the volcano. Okay? Again, we have nothing but lies from the USGS. Right next to it here. This is 0.7. You go further north here. 2 other earthquakes. They call this a 0.4. Again, supposedly above sea level. This is 1/4 mile deep. This is 1/4 mile deep. Right next to it. This is another 0.7. This is almost 2 miles, or 1 mile deep here. 1.8 kilometers deep, almost 1 mile deep here. Okay? Let's go over further to the west here. Small cache of earthquakes here. 0.1. This is a 1/2 mile deep here. This is a 0.5. This is also just over a 1/2 mile deep here. This earthquake here, they say this is a minus 0.5. Interesting enough, but this is 3/4 mile deep. 3/4 mile deep. This is not above sea level. They can gripe and complain, they can call it whatever they want, but in all reality, they don't do their job. They're lying to the public. They're absolutely lying to the public. Further, this earthquake further to the north, they're saying this is a minus 0.1. Folks, this is also 1.25 miles deep underneath Mount Redoubt. 1.25 miles deep underneath Mount Redoubt. Interesting enough. All these earthquakes are indicative of magma beneath the surface of this volcano, causing rock fracturing, which causes earth movement, and that's what we're seeing right here. Mount Redoubt here. Mount Redoubt is moving. Okay? And you can see all these other earthquakes up and down this Cook Inlet here. This is the water here between the peninsula and the mainland of Alaska is called the Cook Inlet. Okay? Further south into the Cook Inlet here, this is a 2.3 earthquake here. Minor 2.3 earthquake. Nanawalik, Alaska. 45 kilometers southwest of Nanawalik, Alaska. Unreal. Unreal. Right here. Okay? They say this is Carlick, Alaska. Folks, guess what? This is Old Ililama Volcano. Old Ililama Volcano. Again, they're calling this a minus 0.4. This is over 1 mile deep, almost 1.5 miles deep. Okay? This is a minus 0.5. Also at Old Ililama Volcano, this is also nearly 1.5 miles deep. Not above sea level here, guys. Sorry, USGS, you struck out. he struck out. Further south over here on the Aleutian Island fault zone. This is the same area where we had a 5.7 earthquake the other day. A 5.7 earthquake the other day. Here we have a 3.9. A small 3.9, 4.0, which could be a moderate earthquake. If they label anything 0.9, usually it's a much stronger earthquake. The 0.9 society is alive and well here. Okay? That is a 3.9 here, and this one further to the south here is a 3.3. 233 kilometers south of False Pass, Alaska. 3.3 earthquake here. And as you can see, we have all kinds of earthquakes over here. Nothing here past the midway point west towards the Kamchatka Peninsula of Russia. It's all quiet over here in that area. However, let's go down here in Japan. Okay? This is another earthquake here. Okay? A 4.5 earthquake here. This is eastern Japan. We've had numerous earthquakes in this area before. It's a fairly well-populated area, by the way. This is a 4.5 earthquake. 4.5 earthquake, 5 kilometers, 2.25 miles northeast of Oshino, Japan. Then over on the other side, over on the western side of Japan here. Look at this. This is a 4.8 moderate earthquake here. Again, they can call 4s light earthquakes, but they're not. A 4.8 moderate earthquake here. This is 65 kilometers west-northwest of Haiku, Alaska. Hakui, Hakui, Japan. Okay? Hakui, Japan. Now, you see this peninsula here? We've had numerous earthquakes here a year ago. 1 year ago. We had an 8.4 major earthquake here. People died here. Over 300 people died. A lot of people got injured by that earthquake. This earthquake here may be a aftershock of that quake. Okay? May be an aftershock of that quake. We've had numerous earthquakes here ever since. Let's go further south. Okay? Now, I want to go over here to the Philippines. USGS is not showing any earthquakes here. There are earthquakes here in the Philippines. Regardless of what USGS says, there are earthquakes here in the Philippines. There are more earthquakes over here in Indonesia as well to the south. Okay? Over here. Okay? I want to go over here. This is the northern side of Sumatra. The northwestern side of Sumatra. This is a large 5.3 earthquake here. A large 5.3 earthquake. 88 kilometers southwest of Banda Aceh, Indonesia. Okay? A large 5.3 earthquake off the coast of northern Sumatra here. Let's go south. They're not showing any other earthquakes here, but there are. Earthquakes over here in Java. They're not showing. Why not? Why not? Let's show you this earthquake here. This is a 5.0 near Gorontalo, Indonesia. Gorontalo, Indonesia. A 5.0 earthquake here. Large earthquake. Large earthquake. We continue going over here to the east. This is another 5.0 earthquake here. Fak, FAK, Indonesia. This is 92 kilometers deep. Still a fairly shallow earthquake. Still a fairly shallow earthquake. So here in Indonesia, we've had 3 large earthquakes. one of 5.3 in northern Sumatra, 2 other earthquakes here, north central Indonesia here, 5.0 near Gorontalo, Indonesia, and over here further to the east, this one being Fakfak, Indonesia. Another 5.0 earthquake here. 3 large earthquakes. We continue going east here. This is another 5.0 earthquake here. Angkoram, Papua New Guinea. Angkoram, Papua New Guinea. 5.0 earthquake here. Okay? This one is 10 kilometers, 6.2 miles deep. Fairly shallow earthquake, right? Absolutely. Let's go over here to the east. Hihipo Tonga. Here we have another large, very large 5.6 earthquake. Very large 5.6 earthquake here. Okay? This is 103 kilometers deep. Still a fairly shallow earthquake. Okay? It's off the coast of Hihipo Tonga, 59 kilometers north of Hihipo Tonga here. In the waters of the Pacific Ocean, the waters absorb the shock waves of this quake. Very large 5.6 earthquake here. We go further south here. This is the southern Fiji region. This is a moderate 4.8 earthquake. 547 kilometers deep. This is a fairly deep earthquake. We have had deep earthquakes here in this region. Now, because this earthquake is a 4.8, it's on the upper side of the moderate earthquake scale. 4.6 to 4.9 I consider to be the upper side of the moderate earthquake scale. This means this deep, 547 kilometers deep. This only means that this earthquake is going to propagate. A 5.5 earthquake. This earthquake here, south of the Fiji Islands here, is going to propagate a large 5.5 earthquake. Sometime within the next 72 hours to 10 days. You can propagate an earthquake right here at Fiji, over in Tonga, further south over to the Loyalty Islands, or could actually propagate an earthquake over to Vanuatu, to the west, or into the Solomon Islands, or Papua New Guinea as well. I've seen that happen before. Seen it happen before. Let's see what happens here. Okay, I've usually been right when this happens. We have one other earthquake here over just south of Fiji here. There's another large 5.0 earthquake. Another large 5.0 earthquake. This is 571 kilometers deep. Still a fairly large earthquake, and it's also fairly deep. This earthquake, folks, is going to propagate a 5.8 very large earthquake. This earthquake here in south of the Fiji Islands is going to propagate a larger 5.8 earthquake within the next 72 hours to 10 days. So expect 2 earthquakes in this region within the next 72 hours to 10 days. Mark my words, they're going to happen. They're going to happen. Let's follow the Tonga trend south. Okay? Now we're in the Kermadec Islands north of New Zealand. This is a 5.0 earthquake here. Wow. Now we've had 5.0 or larger earthquakes in this entire region. 5.0 or larger earthquakes here in this region today. Stretching from over here in New Zealand and Tonga, Fiji, all the way over into Indonesia. 5 large earthquakes in this region. This is one of the world's largest subduction zones. meaning one tectonic plate subducting under another. That's why we have these earthquakes here. One tectonic, earthly tectonic plate subducting under the other. Unreal. This earthquake, though, is fairly shallow. This earthquake south of the Kermadec Islands here is fairly shallow. This is 53 kilometers deep. A fairly shallow earthquake. Okay? Again, deep quakes propagate larger, more shallow quakes. Shallow earthquakes, if they're large, don't propagate much of anything. But deep quakes do. So we've had 5.0 earthquakes here in this region. In this region, guys. Unreal. Unreal. And we haven't topped it off yet. Let's go over here to the Indian Ocean here. Okay? This is another large 5.0 earthquake. However, this was an aftershock of a much larger quake. Okay? This is a 5.0 here. And this is another 5.0 earthquake here. They downgrade this to a 4.9. That's 10 kilometers deep, 6.2 miles deep. This earthquake over here to the east, also 10 kilometers deep. Two more 5.0 earthquakes here. This one in the mid-Indian Ocean. Both of these earthquakes are in the mid-Indian Ocean here. Unreal. Unreal. Now, I want to go back over here. Again, what you're seeing here is not reasonable. USGS is not showing all the earthquakes here. There are plenty of earthquakes. There are earthquakes in Iran. There's earthquakes in the Syria-Turkey border region. Earthquakes in Romania, Crimea, Croatia, going over into Italy. Tons of earthquakes. And also Greece. Greece has again got hit by earthquakes today. Okay? Over here on the the western side of Greece here, we had a large 5.0 earthquake here. Today, we have another 4.2 moderate earthquake here. 4.2 earthquake, fairly shallow, mean only 10 kilometers or 6.2 miles deep. But still, they're still not showing earthquakes over here in the Dokinese Islands. Believe you me. The Dokinese Islands continue to have earthquakes, and they've even had another 5.2 earthquake. They've had another 5.2 earthquake here today. About 60 earthquakes here today. Not as much as it had this time last week, but they're still hammering on this area. Again, it's underground magma. It's underground magma beneath the crust of the earth that we walk on. That's what's going on here. We are going to have a volcanic eruption at some point if this continues. As the magma goes underneath the ground here, it's pounding away at bedrock. It's actually forming a magma channel. As it pounds through the bedrock, it fractures the rocks in the area, causing earth movement. And at some point in time, that magma is going to find its way to the surface. There will be a volcanic eruption. Now, regardless of what USGS said last week, these are not just tectonic earthquakes. These are magmatic earthquakes. These are magmatic volcanic earthquakes. But again, they're not showing anything, are they? That's because they don't want to know what's going on. Heaven forbid. Heaven forbid. Notice where this large earthquake is over here on the western side of Greece. That same fault zone Let's follow it back here to the east. That same fault zone goes all the way up here into the Turkey-Syria border region. It works itself north and east, just south of Cyprus, and up into the Syria-Turkey border region. It's called the Anatolian Fault. Anatolian Fault. Why? Why is this happening? Why are we having earthquakes here today that they're not showing us? I've talked to you about this before. For those of you that have been with this program for a while, you've heard me talk about it. 2 years ago, February 3rd, 2 years ago, 2023, we had a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake here. Killed over 5,000 people and injured over 5,000 more. When that earthquake hit, it opened up a fissure that was 14 miles long. It was as deep as an 8-story building. That's what happens when you have a 9.0, 10.0 earthquake. That same fault line here generated this 5.0 earthquake over here on the west side of Greece. Okay, the same fault line. Okay, let's go over here to Italy. Why are they not showing any earthquakes here in southern Italy and central Italy? Inquiry minds want to know. There's over 60 earthquakes here in Italy. A handful of earthquakes down here in southern Italy, and then a bunch of earthquakes right here. A bunch of earthquakes right here, just north of Vatican City. There's another volcano here. There's another volcano here. And yes, we are going to see a volcanic eruption at some point in time here. That's why we're getting all these earthquakes here. Also further to the north and east here, or further north and west, I should say, right up in here. Right here, San Marino. We're getting a bunch of earthquakes here, some 20 plus earthquakes in this region right here. We're going to see a large 5.0 earthquake here as well. It's going to happen. It's happened before, it's going to happen again. Okay? Again, they're not showing any earthquakes at all over here in the Alps Mountains. They're not showing any earthquakes south of the Alps Mountains in northern Italy. They're not showing any earthquakes in Austria, Switzerland, or Germany, or even France. Why not? There are earthquakes there. Earthquakes here in northern Italy as well. They're not showing them. Earthquakes over here in Spain. Why are they not showing those? Inquiring minds want to know. Why are they not showing those? Okay? Now, let's go over here to Puerto Rico region here. You see a lot of earthquakes happening here now. Right here. This is right between the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. Okay? This is the Mona Pass. It's a body of water between Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. This is a 3.8 minor or small earthquake here. 3.8 small earthquake here. Let's go further down here to southwestern Puerto Rico. This is a 2.7 earthquake here. 10 kilometers west-northwest of Puerto Real, Puerto Rico. Go back over here to southwestern Puerto Rico here. Just off the coast of Guanica, Puerto Rico here, a 2.3 earthquake. This is a 2.1 earthquake here. Northeast of Maria Antonia, Puerto Rico. These earthquakes here are aftershocks of two man-made earthquakes that hit here December 26th and December 28th, 2019. Excuse me. Two man-made earthquakes here 5 years ago. I can go into why they're man-made earthquakes another time. I want to go over and get into the New Madrid Fault just a few minutes here. One other earthquake going over here into the volcanic region of Puerto Rico here. This is a 2.1 minor earthquake. This is near Juntas, Puerto Rico. 2 miles west-southwest of Juntas, Puerto Rico. Let's go north to the north side of Puerto Rico here. This is a 2.8 earthquake north of Animas, Puerto Rico. This is a 3.0 earthquake here. And right here, this is a 2.7. Folks, we've had earthquakes here before. We've had a lot of earthquakes here before. Folks, when we have earthquakes here, out to sea, off the coast, north coast of Puerto Rico, those earthquakes are usually dropped by none other than the fault up here. Okay? This fault line region here comes out of Guatemala over here to the west. Comes out of Guatemala here. Right here. We've had earthquakes over here just recently as late as yesterday. Right here. Aftershocks of that very strong, very dangerous 8.0 earthquake here a week ago Sunday. That earthquake fault then goes north and just goes south of the Cayman Islands here. Again, this is the Cayman Trench. The Cayman Trench. The Cayman Trench still stretches eastbound over towards Cuba and north of Jamaica here. North of Jamaica and skirts the southern Cuban coast here. It keeps stretching eastbound north of Haiti and the Dominican Republic. The Cayman Ridge continues to go over here north of Puerto Rico. These earthquakes that here north of Puerto Rico drop off of the Cayman Trench. The Cayman Trench. Then the Cayman Trench stretches north of U.S. and British Virgin Islands here. Then it heads directly south here. Okay? It goes east of the outlying islands here. Then it keeps going south until it gets just off the coast of Venezuela. Then it makes immediately westward turn over towards Venezuela. Okay? That's where this Cayman Trench goes. And when it goes, it drops earthquakes all over the place. It drops earthquakes everywhere. Now, there are earthquakes over here in Chile, Peru, Colombia, and Venezuela. Why then is USGS only showing us one earthquake here? Northern Chile. This is a 4.8 moderate earthquake, 118 kilometers deep. Okay? There are many earthquakes here. Not just this 4.8 moderate earthquake here. There are other 4s as well. There are 3s also. Up and down the entire coast of Chile. Stretching over into Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, and Venezuela. They're not showing any earthquakes here in Central America. They're not showing any earthquakes here today in southern Mexico, but there are. A lot of earthquakes. A ton of earthquakes. Now I've taken you all over the world now. Now I'm going to go over here to the New Madrid Fault. The rest of my program today, my presentation today, will be talking about the New Madrid Fault. Okay? You can see where the New Madrid Fault is, the Mississippi River here. You see what I'm talking about here. Okay? I'm going to show you 2 places in Louisiana where we have seismic energy hitting. I'm going to show you areas of Arkansas, Missouri, Tennessee, going up into Indiana and Illinois. Yes, folks, the pneumatic fault stretches all the way up here to the Great Lakes. All the way up here to the Great Lakes. So let's talk about that now. Does anybody have any questions about anything I've talked about? And Pickering says she tried to join or send a donation to me. That's fine, and I appreciate that. We really do appreciate that. But does anybody have any questions for me? Let's talk about the pneumatic fault. Okay? The first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to take you here to Catfish Pond, Arkansas. Catfish Pond, Arkansas. This is right next to the Mississippi River, right next to and on the pneumatic fault. Okay? Now, while you see a lot of activity here, most of this activity is minor tremors. Most of this is just minor tremors here. Okay? Early this morning, just after 6 o'clock, about 6:12 a.m. this morning, over here on the right, you see what I believe is a 2.4, 2.5 earthquake, minor earthquake. If you look at all this other stuff here, it's all tremor activity, minor tremor activity. Now, let me show you what's actually going on. Right here, after 11:30 a.m. this morning, what happened? Approximately 11:35 a.m. this morning, we have a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. A 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. To begin with, it started off with tremors, didn't it? On the left-hand side, it started off with tremors. Then it built itself up to 2.0 earthquake, built itself up to 2.5 earthquake, and all of a sudden, we had a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. Nearly a 3.0, didn't we? Absolutely right. This is just the beginning. This is the eastern side of the pneumatic fault. Catfish Pond, Arkansas. Let's continue this discussion here. This is Catfish Pond, Arkansas this afternoon. Again, all we have here this afternoon are tremors. Nothing but tremors. This spot just after 2:01 p.m. this afternoon. Start off with a 1.7, maybe 1.8 tremor. Then it became a 2.2 earthquake. 2.2 minor earthquake. All the rest of the events happen here are just minor tremors here. Minor tremors here. Catfish Pond, Arkansas. It doesn't stop there. As I said before, what we're seeing right now is less activity on the pneumatic fault than we've seen before. A lot less activity. Up until about 6 weeks ago, we were seeing 2.0, 2.5, 3.0, 3.5, and even 4.0 earthquakes here on the pneumatic fault. Yes, I think I'm going to show you some 3.0 small earthquakes here, but nothing like we had 6 or 8 weeks ago. Not anywhere close. Let's take a look at Lake Charles, Arkansas. Look at this afternoon. Okay? About let's see, what would it be? About 2:08 p.m. this afternoon. 1.9 tremor. Then over here to the right, another 2.7 or 1.7, 1.8 tremor here. Still, this is very quiet. Very, very quiet activity. Let's keep on going here. Let's drop further south to just north of Little Rock, Arkansas. Let's stop here in Little River, Arkansas. Little River, Arkansas. Here we're seeing tremors. Lots of tremors. We're also seeing 2.0 earthquakes as well. Minor earthquakes. Let's just drop down here to late morning this morning. Late morning this morning. Just about 8:38 this morning. We had a 2.3, 2.4 earthquake. Okay? Maybe a 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. Then, after 10:15, over on the left-hand side on the red line, it will be 10:15. You come over here, this is now about 10:20, I want to say 10:26, 10:27 this morning. Again, it started off with tremors, then all of a sudden it became a 2.7, 2.8 earthquake here on that red line. We're seeing tremors and we're seeing minor earthquakes here. Okay? Little River, Arkansas. It's happening. The pneumatic is still active. Prior to 2 years ago, all we would see here are tremors. Nothing more than tremors. 1.2, 1.4, 1.5, 1.7 tremors. That was it. We didn't get anything over that. And all of a sudden, 2 years ago, things started popping. Things started popping. Okay? Let's keep moving here. Let's show you Little River, Arkansas this afternoon. Look at this. Again, all we are having here are tremors. Tiny tremors here. Tremors are continuing. Now let's drop down, actually let's go north. I want to go up to Marktree, Arkansas. Marktree, Arkansas, we've typically had 3.0, 3.5, 4.0 earthquakes here in Marktree, Arkansas. That's not going to happen today. It hasn't been happening for at least 2 weeks, maybe a little bit longer. What we are seeing, we're seeing long duration tremor activity. Long duration tremor activity. And this tremor activity is also spiking up to 2.0, 2.3 earthquakes. Long duration tremor activity. Meaning the tremor activity lasts more than a minute. More than 2 or 3 minutes. 5 or 10 minutes even. But long duration tremor activity nonetheless. You can see it here on this graph here. On this side graph. Long duration tremor activity. The black line here on the left hand side. Let's look at it. Okay? This is 5 a.m. over on the left hand side. We have a bunch of tremors here, don't we? Where did the tremors come from? The tremors came from that green line above it and to the right. Okay? The tremors start off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes. You continue on the black line, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 minutes long. Tremor activity. Then it basically went almost back to normal. Then we see more tremor activity happening at 6 a.m. this morning. 6:10 this morning. 6:10, 6:11, 12, 13, 14, 6:15 this morning. That continued on for a long time. 6:15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 minutes. 23-minute long tremor here. These are long duration tremors, guys. Well, we had earthquakes, now we're having long duration tremors. Yes, at some point in time, the earthquake activity is going to return. But I didn't think that this would go back to tremor activity after we had had earthquakes for almost 2 years straight. Almost 2 years straight. Now let me go over and show you Marktree, Arkansas this afternoon. Fascinating. Look at this. Again at 12 noon today over on the left-hand side. We come over here to this afternoon. It starts in with the tremor starting at 12:06 this afternoon. That tremor lasts until 12:15 this afternoon. A long duration tremor. 7-minute long tremor. Then we have another tremor on the red line below it. On the left side it would be 12:15 this afternoon. Over here, now we are at 12:25 this afternoon. We have about 5 minutes worth of tremor activity here. Long duration tremor activity. Marktree, Arkansas. Now let's drop down south to Truman, Arkansas. Truman, Arkansas. Truman, Arkansas, we have bigger tremors, that's all. Yes, we're getting into some minor earthquake activity here as well. Okay? But they're not getting into 3.0 activity. 3.0 larger activity. 3.0 small earthquakes. These are nothing more than tremors and minor earthquakes here. The earthquake I'm looking at right now is at 2:01 a.m. this morning on the black line on the top left. Okay? 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. Then tremors after that. Then we drop down to 3:45 this morning on the left-hand side. We move over here to the right side. All of a sudden we have more minor earthquakes. And then a bunch of tremors. Unreal. Look at all these long duration tremors here. In the past, these have been good sized earthquakes. 2.5 to 3.5 earthquakes here in Truman, Arkansas. A lot of them. A lot of them. Let's look at Truman, Arkansas this afternoon. Same thing here. Long duration tremor activity. Pires, Arkansas to the south. This is a little bit different. Here in Tyronza, we're seeing tremors, and we're actually seeing some 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes here. 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes here later this morning. Earthquakes significance has risen, hasn't it? Stronger quakes here. Stronger quakes. And we're seeing even more tremors, but not necessarily long duration. Okay, we're just seeing separate tremor activity. Let's look at this afternoon here in Tyronza, Arkansas. Look at this. The same thing applies here. Okay? We're seeing up here at the top left-hand side. On the blue line on the left-hand side, this will be 12:30 this afternoon. Here we have at 12:33 a minor earthquake here. 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. And you can see these other twos here as well. On the black line beneath that, actually on the green line beneath that, over here about 12:49 p.m. this afternoon. Okay, 1.8 tremor. Okay, down here at 1:37 p.m. this afternoon. Another 1.5 tremor. Then down here after 2:15 on the left-hand side, we come 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 2:21 p.m. We have a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. Now further to the right, a minute and a half later, almost a minute and a half later, we have a 1.6, 1.7 tremor. Does USGS show this on the map? Heck no. They're not showing any of this activity at all. Not even a little bit. Sometimes we see tremors here on the New Madrid Fault earthquake map of the USGS. None of this stuff today is showing here. None of it. Why not? Why not? Let's keep going here. I've got a lot of ground to cover here. Now, the New Madrid Fault goes north. It goes north from the Gulf of America all the way up to Illinois and Indiana. Let's look over here this morning at Evansville, Indiana. Okay? University of Evansville, Indiana State University. Let's take a look at this here. First off, why did we not show any activity at all early this morning? We don't show any activity until 6:30 this morning. Why not? Because the agency turned off the seismograph. The agency here turned off the seismograph. Why? Lately, we've hardly had any seismic activity at all, including nothing but tiny tremors. Literally tiny tremors. Yet we're still seeing tremors here. We're still seeing tremors here. We're seeing these zigzaggy lines that don't mean anything. Seismographs typically have straight horizontal lines. They have vertical lines, those are called earthquakes. Yes, we're seeing some kind of minor tremor activity here. That's all. That's all. Just minor tremor activity here at the University of Evansville, Indiana. Let's look this afternoon. Nothing here either. Except two different areas here where they turn off the seismograph. Two different areas where they turned off the seismograph. Once at approximately 16, 17, 18, 19. At about 12:19 a.m. this afternoon. 12:19 a.m. this afternoon. The seismograph was off for about 30 seconds. Then it came back on. Then they turned it off again after 12:56 p.m. this afternoon. Then it was off for almost 3 minutes. Then they turned it back on. Why? All we have here are tremors. I can't imagine anything but tremors being here. Why did they turn it off? What is the agency hiding? What is the agency hiding? It's not on the map and it's not here on the seismograph. What are they hiding? University of Indiana at Evansville, Indiana. Okay, what are they hiding? Yes, we've seen minor earthquakes and tremors here before, but hardly anything at all. What are they hiding here? Inquiring minds want to know. Unreal. Let's jump down here to Missouri. Let's go over here to Missouri. Matthews, Missouri. This is southern Missouri here. Southern Missouri on the central part of the New Matter Fault. Over here, this doesn't normally happen like this, okay? This doesn't normally happen. All we have here are a lot of tremors here until 6:10 this morning. 6:10 this morning is when the tremors started, and they build up and build up. Okay, first we had tremors. Secondary, we had minor 2.0 earthquakes. Then all of a sudden, before it was said and done, 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. But that isn't all. Then after that, things started calming down. They calmed down for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes, 5.5 minutes. That's a secondary wave. And the height of the primary wave out to the right is a secondary wave. Folks, when we see that, this means this earthquake is a lot more than they said it was. This earthquake was probably 3.3 earthquake. Here they're showing a 2.8, 2.9. This earthquake was stronger than they're saying it is. This seismograph that reported this was turned down. Anytime we have a huge seismic wave like this, with a huge, long secondary wave, that means this earthquake here was a lot stronger than they're saying it is. Okay? This was a 3.0, 3.3 earthquake. Okay? 3.0 at the very least, probably a 3.3 earthquake. I find it hard to believe that they try to hide this information when the rest of us know what's going on. The rest this morning is very minor, just microquakes and minor tremors. Matthews, Missouri. It's insane, huh? Dr. James Place says Clarksville, Tennessee is shaking again. Clarksville, Tennessee has been shaking all day long. It's been shaking all day long. Let me show you Matthews, Missouri this afternoon. Look at this, guys. We have some microquakes. We have some tremors here. And then long duration tremor series of even minor earthquakes here. 2.3, 2.4, 2.5 earthquakes here this afternoon. This happened at 2:20 p.m. this afternoon. And it continued. It continued after 2:30 on the blue line, calmed down for a few minutes, then it built up to another tremor. That tremor lasted for another 4 minutes. And the new matter fault is moving. The new matter fault is moving. The earth is shaking right now in Clarksville, Tennessee. The earth is shaking over on the west and east side of the new matter fault. It's shaking on the east and the west side of the new matter fault. The new matter fault is moving. It's moving. Let me take you over to Barker Cemetery. This is a seismogram at Barker Cemetery. Folks, on previous seismograms here at Barker Cemetery, we had tremors all day long, starting about 3 o'clock in the morning, going all the rest of the morning. Minor tremors and minor earthquakes, 2.0, 2.4 earthquakes. Off and on all day long. Right now, today, after 9:42:43 this morning, 9:43 this morning, 2.3 earthquake. 2.3 earthquake and a bunch of tremors. Then we drop down here to 10 a.m. this morning. Again, a 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. 10:01 a.m. this morning. Then it calms down, nothing but tremors and microquakes. Then we come down here to approximately 10:41 a.m. this morning. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. Barker Cemetery. Yes, we've seen 2.0, 2.3, 2.4 earthquakes here all day long. Off and on all morning long. Look at this. We have 2.5 to 2.7, 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes here. Late morning today. This is quite unusual for Barker Cemetery. Very unusual for Barker Cemetery. Let's look at Barker Cemetery this afternoon. Look at this, guys. Look at this. Now we're talking 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes. 2.8, 2.9 earthquakes as well as 1.7, 1.8 tremors. They're not 3.0 earthquakes here, but it's getting close. It's getting close. And no, they're not they're not digging any grave sites here. That is not caused by construction equipment. These are seismic quakes on the New Matter Fault. Seismic quakes on the New Matter Fault. Let's continue this discussion here. Now I want to take you over to Marston, Missouri. Good old Marston, Missouri. This is the center of the New Matter Fault. Marston, Missouri is the center of the New Matter Fault. Nothing but tremors. Nothing but tremors here. Fascinating, huh? This afternoon, the same thing. Nothing but tiny tremors here. We've seen earthquakes here before. Minor and small earthquakes here before. The center of the New Matter Fault. Fascinating. Okay? I want to take you now over to Pires, Missouri. Pires, Missouri. This also is on the center of the New Matter Fault. Right alongside the New Matter Fault. Pires, Missouri. Guess what? 2.9, 3.0 earthquakes here. Dr. James Place is saying, is that an S wave? Yes, it is. The smaller waves here are S waves. The larger earthquake here, the larger wave is a P wave, a primary wave. The other earthquakes are S waves. S waves. Okay? That's what we're seeing here. Pires, Missouri today, this morning. Okay? 2.9, 3.0 activity. This activity lasted. It lasted a minute and a half. After that, we had another secondary wave. This was a 3.0 earthquake. Okay? That's probably the only 3.0 earthquake we're going to see here on the new Madrid fault today. Let's go over to Portageville, Missouri this afternoon. Look at this. Just after 12:20 p.m. this afternoon, we had a bunch of tremors. Those tremors turned into 2.0 earthquake, and all of a sudden we had a 2.8, 2.9 earthquake sequence here. With a secondary wave lasting another minute. Then, after 1:30 this afternoon, 1:30 on the left-hand side, over here, we have 1:40 p.m. this afternoon. 3.0 earthquakes. 2 3.0 earthquakes. And the seismicity lasted a few seconds each. After that, we had numerous tremors and minor earthquakes here. The whole seismic sequence lasted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 minutes long. 5.5 minutes long here. And then after that, we had a tremor sequence. 1.1 to 1.4 tremors, lasting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes long. Unreal. Guam, Missouri. Long duration tremors. Guam, Missouri this morning. Guam, Missouri this afternoon. This almost looks like magma beneath the surface, but it's not. These are tremor sequences here. Building up here on the bottom right here of a 2.4, 2.5 earthquake. Okay? The new manifold is moving, but it's not moving as much as it was. It's not moving as much as it was. Let's go over to Ridgely, Tennessee. Look at this, guys. The top of this seismogram is midnight last night. We're seeing a lot of 2.0 earthquakes. A lot of 2.0 earthquakes. We're also seeing through this seismogram a bunch of 2.5, 2.7 earthquakes as well. I do not see anything more than a 2.7 earthquake here. We don't have any 3.0s at all. These are all low density earthquakes, meaning minor earthquakes. And that's all. That's all. That and a bunch of tremors. Ridgely, Tennessee this morning. And Ridgely, Tennessee this afternoon. This afternoon we had 1, 2, 4, almost 12. Well, actually it happened about 12:04 and 30 seconds. 2.3, 2.4 earthquake this afternoon. All the rest of this is just tremor activity. Again, I've never seen this before. Ridgely and Tiptonville, Tennessee usually give us a show. Ridgely and Tiptonville, Tennessee, where the federal prison is, usually give us quite a show for earthquake activity. Today they're not. They haven't showed much of anything in 2-3 weeks. Seismic activity on the New Madrid Fault has calmed down significantly. It's calmed down significantly, blowing my mind. I honestly thought, and I still do, that we're going to have a huge earthquake here within the next 2 years, unless things really calm down here. unless things really calm down and don't start up again. This is Ridgely, Tennessee this afternoon. This earthquake here at 12:04 this afternoon, nothing more than 2.6, 2.7 earthquake. Had a bunch of tremors this afternoon. All quiet on the western front. Dr. James Place said toddlers found the crayons. Pretty much. Pretty much right. Now, does anybody have a question about the new Madrid fault? I want to take you now over to the East Coast. I want to show you what's going on the East Coast. Okay? Let's talk about that. Okay, this is Savannah, Georgia. Look at the tremors and earthquakes here. I believe we're having a couple 2.3 earthquakes, minor earthquakes here. This is nothing more than tremor activity. Constant tremor activity, literally from midnight on. From midnight on here. The largest activity you see here are just minor earthquakes. Nothing more. Nothing more. Let's look at this afternoon. This is this afternoon. This is where these minor tremors and minor earthquakes begat stronger earthquake activity. Okay? This afternoon here in Savannah, Georgia, things lit up, didn't they? Things lit up. After 12:01, just before 12:01. Okay? 2.7 earthquake. 12:01. We come over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 12:06. 2.6, 2.7 earthquake here. After 12:15, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 earthquakes. 6 minor earthquakes. I don't think we had 3.0 small earthquakes. These were all minor earthquakes here this afternoon. Okay? Savannah, Georgia. Okay? I'll talk about what are these earthquakes and why they're happening in just a minute. Okay? Let's keep watch here. Savannah, Georgia this afternoon. Ground is moving, isn't it? How about Waverly Hall, Georgia? Waverly Hall, Georgia, guys. This morning, prior to 10 o'clock, we had nothing more than tremors. Very tiny tremors. Then all of a sudden, after 10 a.m., the tremors went from 1.1 to 1.3, 1.5, and then they got dizzy. They got dizzy. Over at the mid right-hand side here. Mid right-hand side. Okay? The mid right-hand side quake was 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This happened at 10:09 a.m. this morning. A 3.0 earthquake. Prior to that, we had tremors and minor earthquakes, and then we had a 3.0 earthquake at 9 minutes after 10 this morning. The seismic activity died down, and then it got going again after, I want to say 12:06, or not 12:06, 10:06, not 10:06. I'm sorry, 12:20 a.m. this morning. 10:20 a.m. this morning. Okay? Tremors after that. Waverly Hall, Georgia. Fascinating. Fascinating. Let's go over to this afternoon. Look here. Here we have nothing but tremors. Minor tremor activity all day long. But at 12, I'm going to say 12:26, no, not 12:26, 12:23 a.m. or 12:23 p.m. this afternoon. They shut off the seismograph. Shut off the seismograph, and they didn't start it until 12:45 p.m. this afternoon. So it was off for like 20 minutes. Why? Again, I'm asking that question, why do they shut these seismographs off? They had no reason to. They had no reason at all. They shut it down. Crazy. Crazy. Now I want to go up to Indiana, okay? This time up to New Harmony, Indiana. Look at this. It's kind of crazy here at New Harmony, okay? Because up until 2 to 3 weeks ago, we had tiny tremors going up to 3.0 earthquakes here in New Harmony, Indiana. All we see here are tremors and microquakes. Nothing here at all except tremors and microquakes. Those of you that watched me 3 or 4 weeks ago, whatever it was, when I showed New Harmony, all the way up to 3.0 earthquakes. Yet they're not showing us here. Let me take you down to DeRidder, Louisiana this afternoon. This is DeRidder, Louisiana this afternoon. This is the southern end of the New Madrid Fault. What do we have here? Over on the right-hand side, this is 12:24 this afternoon. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake. 2.8, 2.9 earthquake here. Still minor earthquake. Nobody felt it. Could have been a 3.0. Maybe somebody very faintly felt it. They felt it, it was striking. Because it's only earthquake here. All the rest of the activity here are tremors. Tiny tremors and microquakes here. Nothing more. But let's continue. Let me take you over to Pioneer, Louisiana. Look at this. Microquakes and tremors until we get down here after 10:45 a.m. this morning. 10:45 a.m. this morning, we have microquakes. Microquakes get to be 1.1, 1.2, 1.3 tremors, and that's all that happened here. Pioneer, Louisiana. All quiet on the southern front. All quiet on the southern front. Now, let's show you Pioneer, Louisiana this afternoon. Still nothing more than tremors. Nothing more at all except tremors. Yes, we have some microquakes here, but the largest we have are tremors here. I felt 4.0, 4.5 earthquakes in New Orleans before. Yes, they do get them. They do get them. They're not getting them today. They haven't gotten 2.4, 2.5, even 4.5 earthquakes in Louisiana for quite some time. Let's keep on going here. Now I want to go over and take you to North Carolina, just west of Morganton. I want to take you to a mountaintop called Grandfather Mountain. Grandfather Mountain, Morganton, North Carolina. This is just west of where I live. This is the kind of activity we've been feeling here. No, you can't feel anything except if you look at water bottles, look at toilet bowls, look at anywhere where there's standing water. You'll see the water move. That's because we have some minor tremor and microquakes happening. You can look at the tremors and microquakes here and see it happening. This is what you see here in Morganton, North Carolina today. Okay? Not a lot. Not much. But it does happen. Then this afternoon here, Grandfather Mountain here in Morganton. Yes, the tremors got a little bit larger. 1.2, maybe 1.3 tremors here. That's all. I want to show you this because we don't normally see all this tremor activity. And yes, I seem to think that's a lot more than it is. Normally nobody can feel this at all. Just microquakes and tiny tremors. That's it. Okay? But wait till I show you some earthquakes here in North Carolina. I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to take you to Roland, North Carolina. Roland, North Carolina. I'm going to show you where it is right here. It's over here in southern North Carolina. Okay? Roland, North Carolina. This is what we're talking about now. This is where I'm going to show you earthquakes right now. What did I do here? I don't know what I did here. Okay, I think I figured it out here. Okay, that's Roland, North Carolina. Just a second, I'm going to make this smaller here. The zigzag lines here aren't normal. The zigzag lines here are what they call abstract. They don't mean anything. They absolutely don't mean a thing. But the reason I'm showing you this is we also have some earthquakes here. I have some earthquakes here to show you. Now this is just south of where I live. Look at these quakes. You've seen earthquakes here where I live. Okay? First off on the red line here. Okay? This is after 8:20 a.m. this morning. 2.9 earthquakes. Both of those are 2.9 earthquakes. Then after 9:05 a.m. this morning, a 3.0 earthquake happened. 3.0 small earthquake happened here. Roland, North Carolina. Yes, we've seen 3.0 earthquake activity here. We've seen 3-point earthquake activity happening here near Morganton. About 3 years ago, one morning, we had a shaker. That shake was a 4.5 moderate earthquake. A 4.5 moderate earthquake. Everything shook. Everything shook. All we're seeing here are 2.9 and 3.0 earthquake here. Roland, North Carolina. Why are we seeing it? Can anybody tell me why we're seeing this activity on the East Coast? Why? Why are we seeing this, guys? The Mid-Atlantic Fault is expanding. The Mid-Atlantic Fault is expanding. That's why we're seeing earthquakes over here on the East Coast. That's why we're seeing earthquakes over here on the East Coast. Let me show you Martinsburg, West Virginia. Martinsburg, West Virginia today. This afternoon, look at this. This morning, absolutely nothing happened. Not showing anything. And all of a sudden, stuff started happening this afternoon. Look at this. Unreal. We went from nothing but tiny tremors, to minor tremors, to minor earthquakes, all the way up to 3.0 earthquakes here in one afternoon. This is until I pulled the seismogram right before I came on the air today. I pulled the seismogram just after 4:49 p.m. this afternoon. Unreal. Plate movement. Renee Stubby says plate movement. You're right. Plate movement. The Atlantic plate is pushing the North American plate in the southwesterly direction. That's why we are seeing earthquakes over here on the East Coast. That's also why we are seeing seismic energy on the New Matter Fault. Because the Atlantic plate is pushing the North American plate in a southwesterly direction. And while the Pacific plate is subducting under the west coast of North America, further creating seismic activity, further putting pressure over here on the western side of the New Matter Fault. Like I said, at some point in time within the next 5 years, we're going to see a huge earthquake. We're going to see a huge earthquake on the New Matter Fault. Does anybody have any questions? I know I've gone through this fairly fast, but I wanted to make sure you understood what's going on. This is serious. This is serious. Okay? I'm showing it to you. I'm showing it to you. Are you ready for what's going to happen, guys? Are you ready for what's going to happen? Earthquakes. Earthquakes on the New Matter. Some of you were asking about the New Matter Fault. No, we haven't talked about it in 2 weeks, but this is what's going on. Yes, things have calmed down. They will pick up again. Things will pick up again, I guarantee it. But the New Matter Fault is very busy. The New Matter Fault is very busy. Surgery is asking Jebron in Jebron is Indiana included in that area on the phone? Yes, it is. Indiana is the north end of the New Madrid Fault. Illinois and Indiana is the north end of the New Madrid Fault. Seismic energy is hitting. I showed you that. It hasn't been as bad as we have had in past weeks, but the ground is moving here. You guys have any questions for me? Like I said, I've covered it in a very short time period. Down where it says New Madrid is 140 miles away as the crow flies, and that a geologic feature, yes. I've driven over the New Madrid Fault. I've driven alongside the New Madrid Fault. I've actually felt earthquakes on the New Madrid Fault. I was in I was in Little Rock, Arkansas back in 2014, actually 2011. I was on the New Madrid Fault in 2011. We had a disaster drill on the 200th anniversary of the New Madrid Fault giving way. And then we had 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes that morning. They greeted us that morning. It's moving. It's really moving. Let's go back to the USGS map for a minute. Okay? Like I said, I was in Little Rock here. I was there in Little Rock. Right alongside the fault line. Right alongside the fault line. I know it's going to happen again. This next time in a huge way. This next time it happens, it will happen in a huge way. We have Memphis, Arkansas, and we have East Memphis, Arkansas, or not Arkansas, East Memphis, Tennessee. Huge area, guys. I've driven over the 40 highway here. I drove over the fault. Renee Stevie says, heard Kilauea was spewing 400-foot lava fountains. You're right. You're right. Kilauea is spewing 400-foot lava fountains. Maybe tomorrow night before we talk about preparedness, I can show you what the new Kilauea volcano is doing. And yes, I said the new Kilauea volcano. This time I don't think the Kilauea volcano is really going to stop. I have a gut feeling that the Kilauea volcano this time is going to continue for a while. I don't think it will quiet down. Just a gut feeling. Canadian Patriot asked me why I didn't visit the Clintons. I drove by the Clinton Museum. I drove by the Clinton Museum there. No, I did not stop, nor did I want to. I have no respect for either Bill or Hillary Clinton. None at all. None at all. The Clintons are responsible for 50, 60 people dead. 50 to 60 people died as a result of the Clintons. A direct result. Including one of Clinton's aides. One of Clinton's aides. Unreal. Does anybody have any questions for me? Jonesboro, Arkansas is over here to the north, right there. Jonesboro, Arkansas, the people are scared out of their minds. They fear the pneumatic fault is going to give up. They expect to have Jonesboro, Arkansas destroyed when the pneumatic fault gives up again. They expect it. Tom Paducah says, there, Ron, there you go again, Ron, telling the truth. Yeah. If I was to meet Bill Clinton today, I'd have to run away from him because I want to punch him in the face. Just to give you an idea. Back in the 90s, and I don't remember exactly what year, Bill Clinton visited San Diego County. He stayed at the Coronado Bay Hotel. Okay? The Coronado Hotel is a world-renowned hotel. My partner and I were chosen to help guard the area outside of his hotel. We worked for the Secret Service people. My partner was on one far side away from me, about 50 yards away from me, sitting next to a light pole. I was on a corresponding light pole away from him. We had to watch each other, to cover each other's backs. We didn't take our eyes off each other, nor did we take our eyes off of the room that Clinton was staying in. Somehow, that night, early in the morning, Clinton was found out on the beach. Clinton was found out on the beach by himself. I had the Secret Service yelling and screaming at my partner and I, but we let Clinton out of his hotel room. We not only did not see Clinton leave his hotel room, we didn't see the door open, we did not see the door close, and we did not see Bill Clinton leave or come back. But he was found outside the hotel that morning. My partner and I got blamed for it. So that morning, my partner and I drove back to our police station, and we told the captain on duty, do not ever assign us back to the Clinton detail again. We refuse. We refuse. Yes, I guarded George H.W. Bush's telecommunications trailer in San Diego that was parked on Navy property. My partner and I were assigned to that. But after the fiasco with Bill Clinton, I wanted nothing more to do with the Clintons at all. Not anything. And that's when hell hit the fan. When crap hit the fan. Unreal. Unreal. Anyway, does anybody have any questions for me? I didn't mean to go back into talking about politics, but guys, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Also, guys, my buddy Don is putting up our address here where you can send us cards and letters. Come March 20th, I do not intend on having a post office box any longer. Why? Because the post office box is going to cost about $160 for 6 months. And I have not even gotten $160 from anybody or a group of people in the last 6 months. So I cannot have that post office box any longer unless all of a sudden people start contributing to this program and sending us money as donations and letters and cards. I'm just not going to do it. It costs too darn much money, unfortunately. So I'm just not going to do it. But folks, I want to apologize for that. I've had a post office box now for 6 years, and now I'm not going to do it. Sometime in the first week of March, I'll give you our address here. You'll be able to send us cards and letters here, or donations here. Right now, you can send us donations to our PayPal addresses and our Venmo address. That just came up here with Demon Catman here in the chat. We have 2 PayPal addresses and a Venmo address. Right now, you can still send us cards and letters and donations to our post office box until March 20th. Okay? We appreciate you all being here. We really do. You guys are what makes our time go flying through here, and you guys help us put this program on, which we greatly appreciate. Carol and I love you. Carol and I love each and every one of you. I try to make this program interesting. I try to report on emergencies and disasters and emergency preparedness on this channel. And yes, occasionally I do like I did at the beginning. Why? Because what is going on in space involves people's lives. And unfortunately, the Biden administration and Boeing have jeopardized the lives of 2 people. Jeopardized the lives of 2 people, unfortunately. That's not going to change. And now they want to blame it on President Trump and Elon Musk. They want to blame it on the President and Elon Musk. Even the airline disasters that they've had since January 25th, they're trying to blame it all on President Trump. Like President Trump had anything to do with each one of those air crashes. Sorry, he didn't. He didn't. 6 airliners have come down in the past 25 days. Unreal. It's not President Trump. They're accidents. Anyway, I want to go over to 2 Thessalonians now. At the end of our program, we talk about spiritual ideas. We bring scriptures from the scriptures. I'm going to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and I'm going into verse 3 here. Let no man deceive you by any means. That day shall not come except there will become a falling away. The falling away first. That man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, for that is worship. So that he is as God sitteth in the temple of God, shewing himself that he is God. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things? And now you know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed his time. Let no man deceive you. We see deceit all around us. We see deceit all around us. And it's not getting any better. We need ourselves to find out for ourselves. We need to find out for ourselves who God is. We need to decide for ourselves who we can trust and why. I myself, I'm going to trust God. I myself, I'm going to trust God literally and fully. Yes, I do trust President Trump. I trust Elon Musk as well. They've not given me any reason not to trust them. I trust them. Just like I trust all of you. I trust all of you with my life, both spiritually and physically. Carol and I love each one of you. You guys have helped support this program and helped support Carol and I. We appreciate that ever so much. Folks, please give us a like if you think this program is worth being here. Give us a like and share the heck out of this program with everybody that you know. Share this program far and wide. It's not for me, share for yourself. Because the more people we get into this program, the more lives that we affect. The more lives we can try to save from what is going to happen. That's why I'm here. That's why Carol has supported me in doing this channel, to try to save lives. Brothers and sisters, I love you. That's why we're here. I love and care about you and your families. Tomorrow is Friday Preparedness Night. Come here with questions about preparedness. Email me questions tonight on things that you want me to talk about tomorrow evening, and I will do that. Send me emails tonight and messenger or messages to my phone, and I will get them and I will include that information in my program tomorrow night. I care about you all. I care about you and your families as well. I care about your spiritual well-being. Read the scriptures. Read the scriptures. It's my feeling deep in my gut that I know the second coming of Jesus Christ is momentarily. I believe the second coming of the Lord Jesus Christ is imminent. We need to read the scriptures. We need to place our families and those that we care about as the highest priority. May God bless you. May God be with you this day and always. I care. I care about a lot. God be with you until we meet again. I will see you tomorrow evening. Same time, same bat station, between 6 and 7 p.m. tomorrow night. God be with you until we meet again. We'll see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love.